Hello and good morning. My name is Scott Moon. This is a video blog. I want to do more blogging, but I'm also trying to be very efficient and get all my other goals met. So today is the first day after the Smarter Artist. I'm still here in Austin, Texas, and I learned a few things, or maybe was reminded of a few things about kind of making some daily goals, writing them down and getting them done. And so last night I made a list of stuff I'm going to do today, kind of an itinerary that included writing, also including getting out of bed in the morning and getting squared away. That's my version of it's not really a to-do list. We'll talk more about that. I hope to do more blogs or video blogs on this. But the point of that whole kind of really boring story is that I set certain things. I set a time, and I set a time for writing, and the writing is not here yet, and I'm pretty much done with everything else I wanted to do. And that, I called it Reveille, which is just to get up, get dressed for the day, take a shower, get dressed for the day, eat if I'm going to eat, all those things, so that when I start writing, it'll be clear of it. And then I'm going to ideally change my schedule at work and at home, so I'll be writing extremely early in the morning. And the theory is there won't be a ton of distraction. Last thing is, so I'm making a video because I get some extra time. It's like bonus time with Scott. And I really love the view from this hotel. This is downtown Austin. I tried to show it in the podcast last night because there are some beautiful city lights. But, of course, didn't show because I don't have technology to deal with the reflective window. Excuse me. So let's take a look, see if I can show it. I rode in college. That's where I met my wife. You probably can't see on the river down there, but there's a couple of single sculls, and they're moving along. So yesterday I saw in the morning, as soon as I woke up, a sweep 8. For people not familiar with rowing, a scull is when you have 2 oars, one in each hand, and a sweep is when you have one. It's kind of what you think of when you think of like the Olympic. The big events in the Olympics where they're doing the sweep oars, and that's pretty impressive. So that's fun. So back to the topic. So the topic is some initial thoughts on the Smarter Artist, things that I learned and takeaways. I didn't make an elaborate plan for this because this is, like I said, a bonus time to do this stuff. I did have a few things I did today. So I got up. I'm going to do a sleep study. That's one of the big things they talked about. Christine Niles talked about in her productivity block, or not sleep study, a time study. I'm not sure which I just said, but a time study, basically you write down everything you do all day long and to whatever detail you're comfortable with. Some people write down more things than others, and you do that for a week or so, and you learn a couple of things. One, you learn you're doing a lot more than you think you're doing, because some people are hard on themselves, especially writers, and you figure out what you can really do with your schedule. And the idea is, I hope, to make some goals I can actually meet and feel good about, and then make smart choices for the goals. You know, not every goal is, not all my free time should be I mean, I could have got up and, I have free time. I did my task list to get ready. I had 15 minutes of free time. I could have spent that perusing Facebook, which I really want to do because I know there's a lot of people that are all over it right now. There's a lot of good community on there. It would be rewarding in a lot of ways, and I will do that later, but it's not penciled in right now. And anybody at the conference will remember Christine's story about kind of her rules of productivity, or her rules of her schedule. So I'm not going to tell that story. It's not my story to tell, but it was very interesting. And so all the smarters know that. Also, Ben Hale yesterday, he named everybody in the room and had a little story about pretty much everybody. That's 250 people that most of those he met. There's some, maybe 30 or so, he said, from the previous conference. But everybody else he knew. And he had a really great message, and it's going to sound kind of woo-woo when I try to repeat it here on this blog, but people always ask him how he remembers all those people, and I talked to him the day before, and he said, well, he really pays attention. So that's number one. And if you talk to Ben Hale, you know he's really focusing on you, and it's nice to have somebody pay attention to what you're saying. But he also said to the group, he says, you're all worth remembering. And maybe you had to be there, but it was awesome, and everybody immediately knew what he was talking about. So that's good. So I can't give enough props to all the people at the Smart Artist. Real quick, one of the big things that I regret is I took some selfies, but I didn't take selfies with everybody I talked to, because I really talked to a lot of people and hung out with people, but I just have a few. I thought I was taking them all day long, and I was just like annoying people with my camera and, you know, hey, let's take a selfie and stuff, but I really didn't take that many, so oops, my bad. I wanted to interview a lot more people on the Keystroke Medium Live thing. I didn't. It just felt kind of awkward, and there's noisy, and some of the Wi-Fi is kind of weird. I have good Wi-Fi right now, which actually I may post this when I'm done to YouTube, because I paid for extra bandwidth last night for the show Thursday Night Live with Mark Wandry. I always say his name wrong. He's one of the sci-fi writers, and of course Ralph Kern and Josh Hayes were on that as well. Anyway, so I'm almost to the point where I'm going to sit down and I'm going to start writing, and then after I write, the next thing on my schedule is to drive home. I'm going to use the Read Aloud app to listen back some of my stories, or I'm going to read or listen to a new book Craig Martell gifted me when I met him at the summit. You know, I told him how much I liked audiobooks. He said, hey, let me send you a free audiobook code. I'm like, thank you, that'd be awesome. I'd love to listen to it. And then I also still have some of the Emperor's Blades to finish reading, which I can't recommend enough if you like fantasy. So I got my schedule out. I planned out the next 3 days, sort of more detail obviously today than, you know, the further out the schedule goes, the less detailed it is, because, you know, I'm not going to just try to force stuff into a slot it doesn't fit. And then I started my sleep study on a blank page, or not sleep study, I keep saying that. Probably need a sleep study. My time study, and I will do that when I get back from the trip. It's kind of dumb to do it now. I was going to just start immediately. You know, procrastination is not your friend all the time. So, and then I started a page of thoughts, and this is something I'm going to dump my thoughts out. I've done this before on paper before I start writing, so hopefully I don't get distracted and run down the rabbit hole. I'm not opening Facebook right now. I'm not opening any social media or emails, because once you open that door, even if you don't spend the time following up on all those things you see on Facebook and emails and all that, it still makes it's like releasing a pressure from your brain, and it leaks out, and that should be focused on your writing, in my opinion. So some thoughts I had, some things I want to do in no particular order this year or sometime. I want to take a public speaking course. I'd like to get better at speaking in front of people. Speaking in front of the blog is a lot easier than that, but I like to do presentations and develop some good content to share to people. I got asked a lot about my day job, and, you know, I feel like an expert on it because I've been doing it for 20 years. But to really give a good presentation, it takes a little bit more work than just kind of having done it. So I'd like to take a public speaking course. I'm going to kick myself because this is hard. I'm going to volunteer to do presentations at work. There's always an opportunity to do that. That'll be good practice. Get more comfortable talking in front of large groups. Obviously, given my job, I'm going to seek departmental approval and guidance on that type of thing, because it's going to be to a civilian audience for writers, and there's probably some things that are appropriate, some things that are not appropriate as far as what you can say. Obviously, you can't. I know you can't talk about courses that are, or not courses, cases that are open. That's no, you know, they're still in the judicial system. But I know people have done a lot more presentations, and they know what they're doing, and I don't, so I'll just ask, because that's always a good idea. Other just random thoughts this morning. The big one is, everybody knows Chris Fox. I had lunch with him and some other guys that were really awesome, and he talks, and everybody gives him a hard time about writing 5,000 words in an hour. I think that was one of his books. So all through the conference, not everybody can write 5,000 words an hour, and they're kind of teasing him about it the whole time. He's a good sport, and that's awesome, but you don't have to write, in my opinion, 5,000 words a day is all I need. I'd take that in a heartbeat. I don't need to do them in an hour. Excuse me. But so my thought today is, we also talked about limiting belief structures in one of the presentations, and like I said, I'll try to be more detailed or more structure later. But so limiting belief is that 5,000 words a day is impossible. It's not impossible. It's actually not that hard with a little bit of planning, I think, personally. So I think I can write 5,000 words a day with some good planning, you know, and whatnot. And if I fall a bit short, then that's still good, right? So the one non-negotiable in all the time management stuff for writers is, you have to write. even if it's only a little bit. But I really want to make some progress. So I'm going to try for 5,000 a day, and hopefully within 2 or 3 videos, I can tell you exactly how well that's going in, so anybody else who wants to do that can do it as well. So that's my, not really a quote, but my self-talk is the big one today is writing 5,000 words a day is not that hard with a little planning. I think that's true. So if you disagree with me, leave a comment in the YouTube post or email me or just scream at the sky and shake your fist. I don't care. I mean, either way, that's all good. I thought I need to study the market more. I need to do more marketing. Jenna Sword she was there with she does You Can Brand, I think is her webpage. Talked a lot about branding. She's obviously an expert, and she had a lot of good tips. So I want to study the branding more and the marketing more. It's 2 separate things. Cover designs, not the same as branding and all those things. So good stuff. Looking forward to doing a lot of stuff. I hope to do more written and/or video blogs on a more consistent basis. And nobody has to watch them, obviously, but it'll keep me kind of like an accountability check, like, am I actually doing this? So my thing is now is I'm trying to be more intentional with my living in general and with my writing and my career. I'm going to set written goals and achieve them and just go day to day, and hopefully I'll have some other good stuff to put on here. And I'm glad that everybody has watched this and listened. I'm almost to my scheduled time to start writing. I'm going to write for 1 hour. I'm making a good quality hour of writing, and then I'm going to check out and get on the road. And that way, traveling can be hard for any writer, and I think I'll feel happier about the drive. And then I'll just be able to just chill, listen to audiobooks, or use the read aloud to listen to my own stuff for proofreading kind of, and get home and see the family and get all refreshed so I can go back to my actual job that actually pays for the house, and be fully there and not thinking about all the other things I want to do while I'm at work. And then when I'm at home writing, I'll think about writing, and with family, focus on family. So be in the moment. That's another big thing I learned. It's not new. Everybody's probably heard that. But living in the moment is more rewarding and more efficient than trying to multitask. So we'll talk more about that some other time. I'll see y'all later. And have fun, be safe, learn something, do something good today. Later.